Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, the Yoga of the Supreme Person. Krishna has begun this chapter by requesting us to try and cultivate detachment from the material world. He compares this material world to a tree whose branches are down and roots upward. It is the perverted reflection of the original tree. So this world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world, and this is not our real home. He invites us to his own abode, which is our real home, and he says how living entities in this world have been struggling life after life, going through various species, various conditions, and this cycle is never ending. So depending on how we engage our free will, our senses in this world, we develop a particular type of consciousness. Depending on our certain desires, then the next body is just tailor-made to facilitate such desires. As they say, man proposes, God disposes. So whatever situation, family, community, body we find ourselves in today, it is the result of the desires we have cultivated in the past. But now we want to cultivate better desires, more than simply eating, sleeping, enjoying our senses, and trying to protect what we have, which even the animals have the facility of doing. So therefore, different life situations are meant to teach us a simple lesson. We are looking for the right thing, that is happiness, but we are looking in the wrong places. This world is a place of dukhalaya. It is dukhalaya, a place of misery. We are trying to engage our senses. Why do we engage our senses in different activities, life after life? For the sake of happiness. But have we found it? No. It is not satisfying. It gets boring after a certain point, and we don't get real happiness, that never-ending happiness. So the desire is right, but the place and the activities we are engaging our senses in to acquire that happiness is wrong. So we have to therefore look for that which is permanent, that is the spiritual realm where we belong. In the spiritual world only we can have permanent eternal happiness. Since we have to leave this world one day and we have to go somewhere, so why not aim for that world? And we can't live here forever. We have to leave this body one day. So let us engage in the devotional service of the Lord, as Krishna explained in the beginning, that we can acquire his kingdom also. So we've discussed till text number 11. Now text number 12 onwards. 12 to 15, Krishna is explaining how one who is entangled within the reflected tree of material existence, that is this material world, can develop his Krishna consciousness, God consciousness, by appreciating how Lord is the maintainer on all levels. Even if we are not charmed by his majesty, his sweetness, we are not that advanced, at least let's just start remembering and realizing how the Lord is the one who is maintaining me, so that way we can develop an attitude of gratitude towards him, and from there the real growth can happen. We can advance. So Krishna explains that he maintains our gross physical body by arranging fundamental resources that provide the energy of life. He also maintains our subtle capacities by facilitating knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. And finally, perhaps most importantly, Krishna maintains our spirituality by offering ways and means to achieve self-realization and escape the dangerous cycle of repeated birth and death, repeated cycle of miseries. So let's just get into the verses one by one. Text 12. Yadaditya gatam tejo jagad bhasayate akhilam yachandramasi yachagno tat tejo vidhi mamakam. Krishna says, the splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness of this whole world, comes from me. And the splendor of the moon and splendor of fire are also from me. And all these three, the sun, the moon, and fire, they are very, very important for sustaining life in this world. If there is no sun, life cannot survive. There's no moon, which is the deity for the mind, which is the deity for the vanaspati or vegetation, without which we can't survive. And fire, of course, we need heat, even to digest the food within our body and to cook food. So sometimes, because these things are so readily available and we are so easily using it and we've got so used to it, we don't even realize the grace of the Lord. Like oxygen, abundantly available, but when there is shortage, only then we realize, we start suffocating. So have you ever wondered what will happen if there is no sun, there is no moon, if there is no fire available? It would be disastrous. We take for granted these special facilities that God has created for our sustenance, our maintenance, and because we forget that, we become proud of thinking that we have achieved things on our own. What if the Lord stops supplying oxygen, tells the sun not to shine, tells the moon not to appear, and there's no fire? So Krishna is saying how he is maintaining each one of us. Problem is that we forget. But even if we simply can remember this, how the Lord is maintaining us, we can remain grateful and connected to him. Gratitude is a sign of a cultured human being. Further, text 13, Gama Vishyacha Bhutani Dharayami Hamojasa Pushnami Chaushadhi Sarvaha Somo Bhutva Rasatmakaha. I enter into each planet, and by my energy they stay in orbit. I become the moon, and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. Have you ever wondered how much effort it takes to put one satellite in space? Hundreds of scientists, billions of dollars, many years, and that too for a short while. And they have to constantly keep working hard and maintain surveillance so that nothing goes wrong, and there are people sitting in the space station also supervising, overseeing the affairs. But imagine somebody has put all those huge planets in space. So how powerful, intelligent that person must be. And he's not even overseeing. He just put them and they are in their orbits. No planet one day thinks, let me go into that planet's orbit. They have been rotating within their limit, within their same orbits that the Lord has created. And Krishna says, by my energy they stay in orbit. What else could be the explanation? Nobody else has made that claim. Only Krishna has done that. And he is the one who is supplying power to the moon. The moon is reflecting his power. When he says, I become the moon, doesn't mean moon is Krishna, but he says, it's me, my power, my influence reflected through the moon, which provides juice to all the vegetables, because of which life can sustain. Text 14, Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashritah Pranapana Samayuktaha Pachami Annam Chaturvidham. I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of all living entities. And I join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming, to digest the 4 kinds of food stuff. So we are so dependent on God that we cannot even digest food without the Lord's grace. He is the one who has created that fire of digestion. There are 4 kinds of food stuff, the ones which are licked, chewed, swallowed, and sucked. We eat these 4 kinds of food stuff, and he says it's me who is joining with the life air, incoming and outgoing breath, to digest these 4 kinds of food stuff. He has created such a wonderful system. The day we are not able to digest food, all hell breaks loose, and we take things so granted. We take things for granted so easily. What if, so everything that we have, all the ability, the intelligence, the body itself, is the Lord's arrangement. And the worst thing we could do is to forget this. And because of that, we become ungrateful, we develop arrogance, we start thinking I have done it, we have done it, and that leads to pride, and false pride leads to fall down. Further, Krishna says in text number 15, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto mattah smritir jnanam apohanam cha vedaischa sarver ahameva vedyo vedanta kridved vid eva chaham. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. So Krishna is saying he is the source of remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. So without his mercy, we can't even remember things. Knowledge cannot come. We can't even forget things without his grace. So it's very important. Sometimes we forget. Sometimes we don't remember things. So we can always pray, my dear Lord, let me always remember that all I am is only due to your mercy. And please bless me with the right kind of knowledge. And please let me never forget you. And forgetfulness. Krishna says, I am the source of forgetfulness also. So sometimes something terrible happens in our life. And as long as we keep remembering those events, we can't stay in the present. We can't live peacefully. We can't enjoy at present. And we all know, we have all gone through such situations and we suffer. So I always tell people depression, or sometimes people start taking some intoxication, they get into bad habits, they go into depression, they become lonely, they commit suicide. These are not the solutions. If you want to forget, remember who is the source of forgetfulness? Krishna. So we have to approach Krishna as, let me forget all this that I've been through and let me remember you. Let me remember all the blessings that I have in my life by your grace. By his grace only we'll be able to forget. So we have to take his shelter. By all the Vedas I am to be known. Krishna says, I am the goal of all the Vedas. Even if the Vedas are talking about some rituals, know for sure that those rituals are a stepping stone towards me. They are not there to just simply have your material desires fulfilled and get stuck. They are meant to elevate you gradually. And I am the knower of the Vedas. Veda also means knowledge. So Krishna says, I am the goal of all the knowledge. If all our knowledge that we acquire doesn't lead us to Krishna, then it's simply a waste of time. If it doesn't lead us to increasing our affinity for the message of the Lord, for the devotional service of the Lord, it is just a waste of time. Now, in the last few verses, Krishna just summarizes his teachings, especially in 16, 17, 18. He speaks the essence of the Gita. Previously, he has spoken the essence in 4 verses called the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. And now he's going to do it in the 3 verses, 16, 17, 18. And then there's 19, 20, summarizing everything. Text 16. Dvavimau purushau loke ksharas chakshara evacha ksharah sarvani bhutani kutastho akshara uchyate. There are 2 classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible, and in the spiritual world, every living entity is called infallible. So there are 2 types of living entities. Those who fall down from the spiritual world, and then when they come to material world, they have to be covered with a body made of matter. And there are some living entities who never fall from the spiritual world. They are called infallible. So fallible is referring to all of us who have fallen down. Now we have to rectify our behavior, cultivate God consciousness, and then based on our consciousness will be transferred to that same spiritual world where we actually belong. So in the spiritual world, every living entity is infallible, is known as infallible. They haven't fallen down. But beyond these 2, there is one more living entity, which is very important to know. This is the essence. Otherwise, we are just stuck with I, me and mine only. Text 17. Uttamaha purushastvanyaha paramatmeti udahritah yo lokatrayamavishya vibharati avyaya ishvaraha. Besides these 2, there is the greatest living personality, the Supreme Soul, the imperishable Lord Himself, who has entered the three worlds and is maintaining them. He's referring to Himself, but right now He's not directly saying it. Sometimes we come across verses in the Gita where Krishna is saying, I am this, I am that, I am everything. So sometimes people take offense. Oh, why is He so boastful? So please understand, let us not try to impose our consciousness on God. He's free from the conception of I, me and mine. He's not under the three gunas. When He's saying what He is, He's simply stating the facts. If He does not reveal the knowledge about Himself, then how can we ever know Him? So He has to tell that. If the chairman of a bank says, I am the chairman of the bank and I am also keeping with me the powers of the HR and the CFO, what's wrong with that? Because we have false ego, so we start thinking Krishna also has false ego. We see the world according to how we are, not according to who they are. So we have to be careful not to have this offensive mentality. And Krishna now explains about Himself. He is the maintainer of the three worlds. Text 18. Yasmat ksharamati aham aksharaadapi chottamaha atavasmi loke vedecha pratitaha purushottamah. Because I am transcendental, beyond both the fallible and the infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as that Supreme Person. Now He declares that He is that Supreme Person whom the Vedas and the Upanishads describe as the all in all, the Supreme Lord. He says, I am that. Now He's revealed the truth about Himself clearly. And He says He's beyond both categories of living entity. He's not one of the living entities, but He's the Supreme living entity, the Supreme Soul, the Supreme Lord, beyond the fallible and the infallible. And what happens when we know Him? Yomam evam assamudho janati purushottamam Sasarvavid bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. Who is understood to be the knower of everything? One who knows Krishna as the Supreme Lord. He's previously also declared that He is the goal of all knowledge. So somebody who knows simply that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, He is God, that means he may not have studied any scripture, not traveled to any holy places, not performed any tapasya, dan, dharam, yajna. Doesn't matter, because the conclusion of all that he is already reached. So he is the knower of everything. He is to be understood as the greatest knowledgeable person, the greatest scholar. And what happens when somebody knows Krishna as the Supreme Lord? He therefore engages himself in full devotional service unto me, O son of Bharata. Naturally, when somebody understands Krishna's supreme position, he would like to serve Him. We are all enamored by great personalities, like there are so many celebrities, and we want to do something for them. We want to give them a flower. Oh, can we do something? We are so eager. And we want to touch them. We want to touch their feet. We want to get them a gift. We are very so eager to serve them, because we are so enamored by their beauty or fame or whatever. So imagine when somebody understands Krishna's beauty and fame, so he would definitely feel inclined to engage in the Lord's devotional service, understanding Him. And Krishna says this is the most confidential part of the Vedic scripts. What is that? To know Krishna as the goal of all knowledge, as the Supreme Lord, and engagement in His devotional service. It is not easily revealed to everyone. Text 20, the last verse of this chapter. Iti guhiyatamam shastram idamuktam mayanagha etad buddhva buddhiman syat kritakrityascha Bharata. And Krishna also gives a benediction at the end of this chapter, this last verse, to those who will understand this knowledge that He has described in this chapter. If we have understood, then we will be blessed with this benediction. What is that? Krishna says, this is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, whatever He has explained, O sinless one, and it is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection. So anyone who will understand what Krishna has explained in this chapter, the confidential knowledge about Himself and this world, that person will be blessed with wisdom, and whatever he does, all his endeavors will bear fruit. They will become perfect. So this is the special mercy Krishna bestows upon those who try to understand him. And the greatest mercy is such a person will never be born again in the material world. He will go back to the spiritual world and enjoy life eternally in the world of Purushottama. This is the Purushottama Yoga, the chapter, one of the most famous chapters of the Gita, the Purushottama Yoga. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.